Black Forest looks like an equestrian paradise with its beautiful Ponderosa pines and rustic mountain feel, but the reality of keeping horses here may be a little bit more complicated than that. The purpose of this video is to share firsthand experience and research on why Black Forest might actually be one of the toughest places in El Paso County to own and manage horses. While the area is undeniably beautiful for humans, the combination of grazing area, trees, water laws, and wildfire risks might make it a logistical and financial nightmare for horse owners. Before we dive into why you should not buy a horse property in Black Forest, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Aubrey Maldonado. I'm with eXp Land and Ranch, and I specialize in equestrian ranch and homestead properties right here in the Pikes Peak region. If you want to know more insight on living with horses or livestock on the Front Range, hit that subscribe button, get notified when new content comes available. And now let's talk about Black Forest. The first and most important point to me when evaluating Black Forest as a home for your horses is the limited grazing and carrying capacity. In the Colorado Springs area, dryland pasture carrying capacity can be low. It typically requires 10 to 20 acres to support just one horse on pasture alone. That being said, Black Forest is heavily subdivided into 2.5 to 5 acre lots, most of them 5 acres. The larger lots that are 20 to 35 acres can be a little bit harder to find, and they definitely come at a price. With any property, it's important to keep in mind that your house, your driveway, yard, barn, and barnyard all could take up 1 to 2 acres of your property. Not to mention if you want an arena or round pen. Once you account for the amenities, you are left with maybe 1 to 3 acres of usable land with those smaller lots. Because these smaller lots cannot sustain grazing even one horse, you will be feeding hay year-round. With Colorado hay prices fluctuating and often high, feeding horses 100% hay is a massive ongoing expense. Having a small acreage also means you can't just spread manure all the time. You will likely have to pay for a dumpster service or haul it away yourself to comply with local regulations, keep flies away, and avoid runoff issues. Next up is the well water trap. Dealing with water access can be the biggest trap for horse property buyers in Colorado. And let's face it, you and your horses need water, and we are in the West. Many properties in Black Forest only have either domestic or household wells. Some properties even have a shared well situation, which can get really complex. If you buy a property with a household use permit, in most cases it is legally prohibited to run a hose outside to fill a horse trough or even water a garden. You cannot water livestock or irrigate any pasture. To legally water horses, the property must have at least a domestic well permit. Even then, you should always check the usages permitted for that well. If you buy a property with the wrong permit, your only legal option is to bring in water somehow, which is a huge ongoing expense and can honestly get really annoying. The beautiful trees that draw people to the area are the exact reason pastures can fail. Ponderosa pines have massive root systems that steal water and nutrients from the soil, making it incredibly difficult for pasture grass to grow. Additionally, pine needles fall constantly, creating a thick, acidic mulch layer that smothers any grass trying to grow beneath it. Beyond the lack of grass, there are possible toxicity risks. Ponderosa pine needles, especially when eaten in large quantities or by pregnant mares, can be toxic and cause abortions known as pine needle abortion. While horses don't usually prefer pine needles, a lack of other forage can lead them to nibble on fallen needles or branches, so it's just something good to be aware of. The area is also currently battling a severe mountain pine beetle infestation. Keep in mind, dead trees can be a major hazard and cause expensive property maintenance. They can fall on fences or barns and cause a lot of damage, especially during high winds. You can remove trees, which can be expensive unless you can do it yourself. But hey, you've got some firewood. Speaking of fire, the Black Forest area had a catastrophic wildfire back in 2013. The Black Forest fire burned over 14,000 acres and destroyed hundreds of homes. You can still see quite a bit of the damage through the central Black Forest area. And I cannot imagine what it was like to evacuate horses with only 2-lane roads and a fast moving wildfire. Along with this, homeowners insurance in Colorado wildfire zones is becoming a crisis. Finding coverage for a property with a barn and house in the trees can be incredibly difficult. If you do find coverage, the premiums could be astronomical, and you might be required to do extensive and expensive fire mitigation, cutting down many of the trees you probably bought the property for. A couple last small details when you're evaluating black forest are soil and road conditions. While sandy soil can drain well, the combination of shade from the trees and winter snowmelt can create serious mud issues in the spring. Because of the shade from the trees, it can also take a lot longer for snow to melt in Black Forest. Many roads in Black Forest are unpaved, narrow, and winding. Navigating a large horse trailer through tight, tree-lined, muddy, or snow-packed private roads in the wintertime can be incredibly stressful. With all of this in mind, Black Forest is a beautiful place, but you might end up fighting nature, water laws, and insurance companies every step of the way to keep your horses there. If you're looking for other locations for your horse property in El Paso County, stay tuned for comparisons of Black Forest with places like Albert, Monument, or Calhoun. And subscribe to my channel for more equestrian real estate tips. Lastly, if you have experiences with horse properties in wooded areas like Black Forest or even out on the plains, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think.